I'd like to call to order the October 3rd committee meeting of the Harris County Board of Education, where our mission is ensuring an excellent education for every child in Harris County. And our vision is one community committed to the well-being and preparation of every student for lifelong success in a global society. At this time, that will take us to item B, that the Harris County Board of Education review and approve the October 3rd, 2024 monthly committee meeting agenda as presented. Do I have a motion? Mr. Goodnow, second. Mr. Proctor, any discussion? All in favor? So moved. And that will take us to our public participation portion of the meeting. Dr. Finney, do we have any members of the public sign up to speak this evening?
We do not have anybody that has signed up to speak this evening.
Okay. All right, so that will take us to item D, that the Harris County Board of Education review the attached meeting minutes from the board meetings held in September of 2024. Those are in your packets. I trust you will review those. And if you have any revisions or any adjustments that need to be made, please get with Ms. Ashley so that we can get that approved at our next meeting. So that will take us to our discussion agenda and item E1, that the Harris County Board of Education listen to a curriculum update from Dr. Patterson. Good evening.
As you recall, every year about this time, the SAT scores are released, and we've gotten the scores from the state of Georgia and the nation. The College Board has released all of them. So I would like to do as I've done in the past couple of years and go over some information that you seem to enjoy receiving. So if you look at the first sheet, this is the historical data of the Harris County High School SAT participation and their scores. And as you recall, in 2021, the College Board and colleges all over the nation, due to the pandemic, said we're not going to require an entrance exam, and that's why the participation dropped in 2021. It dropped again in 2024, and the prediction is that it's for the same reason, it's not required as an entrance exam, and the prediction is that it's going to be the same in 2025. But even with that, our kids are still going to take the SAT because the SAT score is a criteria for certain scholarships. This SAT is different. It's digital. In the spring of 2024, the College Board went completely digital on the SAT. So that in itself, the presentation of the test is different. The test is different. It used to be a fixed test where they got the same questions. All children got the same questions throughout the whole test. This year in 2024, when it went digital, it also went adaptive, which is something you can do with a digital test. Each section has 2 modules. The first module in each section has all kids get the same questions. And then based on how they do on the first module, that determines the difficulty of the second module. So after the first module, they don't all have the same questions. If you look at the second page, you can see how we did compared to some surrounding districts. And then because you guys are always keenly interested in how we do in comparison to some surrounding schools, I provided that information for you once again. I'm very proud of the Harris County High School students. I want you to know that. They work hard, the teachers work hard, the administration works hard. The parents get behind the kids. There's just a lot of support all around. And you can see that even though the test changed and it was shorter, it was still, our kids still really did a good job. 1,600 still, yes. And then on the third page, we find this to be interesting. This is where our kids, when the kids that took the test, they had a chance to put what their intended college major was. And I like to see this because it really is a good testament to how our programs in the Science and Technology Center and some of our other programs at the high school inspire our students, because what they are requesting or what they're indicating as their intended major resonates directly to our course offerings at the high school. So I thank you for your support as we build the Science and Technology Center and expand it and put those programs in place to meet the needs of our students.
Very good. Does anyone have any additional questions for Dr. Patterson?
Good information, thank you.
No, you're
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you for compiling this for us. It was
Yeah, I like.
very informative. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, that will take us to item E2, that the Harris County Board of Education listen to a human resources update from Ms. Carlisle. Good evening.
Good to see you. We always start out with employment opportunities, and you can see our vacancies listed there. That has changed. We're now down to 2 vacancies there, so we have an additional pending. Looking forward to tomorrow night, where we honor our Teachers of the Year and our Support People of the Year. We'll be in the Commons before we go down to the track and make the big announcement about 7:10, 7:15 or so. We appreciate the high school rescheduling with us. We were scheduled a week ago due to the weather, so we're really excited about that. Mr. Lenny with the Touchdown Club, he's going to be cooking for us, so that'll be really great. First time for that, but we've had some circumstances, and the Touchdown Club was happy to do that. So they were happy to support us. So we appreciate that group. We've got CSU interview days coming up in just a week or so. And you were familiar with last year when we did our stay conversations with our parapros, because we were looking at our data, we were looking at how to improve retention, kind of keep that turnover number down. This year, we're going to start, we're going to do fall stay surveys with all new employees across the district. And we're just going to jump in there this fall and see how they're doing. It's a great time to see how they're transitioning to their new school and a new district. Some of them are brand new in their field. Some of them are coming from other school districts. So we're looking forward to that as well. That's all I have for you.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Carlisle? All right.
All right, thank
ma'am.
you.
So that will take us to item E3, that the Harris County Board of Education listen to a support services update from Ms. Baker.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. So this evening, as I always try to do, I try to bring you some good news of what we're trying to do to make sure that we're helping our students. So the first part of our good news is I've told you about CareSource and their partnership with Park and how they're giving them incentives to incentivize their students and to just increase overall engagement with students. Well, this evening, I want to bring you another facet of CareSource, who is one of our sustaining financial partners. They are now wanting to expand their partnership with us and take that to our high school students. And we've met with Mrs. Snyder, we met with Mr. Dunn, we met with the healthcare teachers, because we're looking at the healthcare students that are a part of HOSA with what we're looking to do. And what we're looking to do is implement a program that's called Peer Ambassadors. And this is to set the foundation for students who are looking to go into the healthcare pathway so that they can have those foundational supports. They can have the opportunities to resume build, community service hours, and all the things that would make them be successful in the healthcare field. So I cannot tell you and give you justice to it. So what I've done is I brought the source from CareSource to give you a brief presentation on what that looks like and what it sounds like. Mr. Stephen Ramey.
Good evening.
Welcome, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much, Ms. Baker, for that great overview. Just wanted to add a couple of things. We've also committed $500 as a stipend to the HOSA chapter at Harris County High School as a way of thank you for participation. And also throughout the program, we want to just continue to equip our future generation of healthcare professionals, because we know you can't have too many healthcare professionals in this nation. So we're just trying to do our part in being proactive and just trying to continue to assist in this great partnership that we already have.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. We
Oh.
appreciate it.
No problem at all.
Any questions?
Can you tell us a little bit about the ambassador program itself? What does that look like for the student? What does the student participate in doing?
Okay, great question. So with the peer ambassador program, it actually through inception, we just wanted to empower them to be more ambassadors when it comes to school-based health services. So for example, you have a robust school district telehealth program that's been doing great. Shout out to Miss Carter, who's the telehealth coordinator for the county, who has been giving statistics to show that people are not only being aware, but they're also enrolling in those services and also utilizing them as well. So we just want to take it a step further and let the high school students be a part of the process, allow them to be able to be ambassadors, to be out in the front, to be able to tell the parents to get the buy-in so we can continue to increase the number of students that will utilize those services. Because especially from the state level, Governor Kemp has allocated millions of dollars to continue to have this become more expansive throughout the whole state. So we have a program that we're trying to give to the Hosha Club, and it's also flexible, meaning whatever they feel as though would be best when it comes to implementing and also making sure maybe like some marketing campaigns, a poster that they may create or some type of social media post to try to, again, just help create more awareness to the great services that you're providing here.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So if there are no questions about the peer ambassador program, the next item of discussion is a partnership that we feel is very vital. You may recall, I think 3-4 school years ago, we implemented the Georgia Apex. Well, we wrote the Georgia Apex grant and we received it through New Horizons Behavioral Health. And with that Apex grant funding, we were able to put a case manager and a therapist at Harris County Carver Middle School. Well, along with that, we also had a partnership with the Family Center of Columbus, which is now defunct. They are no longer in existence. We were serving our students from grades 3 through 12, minus that middle school population, with psychoeducation support that our school counselors or our school personnel are just not equipped to do. Well, this year, we were trying to figure out how to best serve our students, not because of what has happened with the recent school shooting at Appalachia High School, but to be proactive like we always are trying to do with mental health supports for our students. There's a company that is called Georgia Hope. Georgia Hope is in 125 counties across the state of Georgia. They've been in Georgia for 20 years. They support various school systems. One of our partners down the street, Muskogee County, is also a recipient of using their services to support mental health support, school-based mental health supports for their students. This is a program, and I've given you what the goals are. I don't want to go through all of this to read it to you, but I do want to tell you that the whole purpose of this is to address the mental health needs of students with a professional, licensed, either social worker or what they call a clinic support specialist. Georgia Hope provides the personnel, they provide all the funding for it. All we do is provide a space. With this spacing and with this support in our schools, they will see students with parental consent. It has to be by parental consent. They cannot just see them randomly. Parents have to sign up for it. There's a referral process. There is not a cost to students because the Georgia Apex grant can pay for the cost for students that don't have the funding. However, CareSource, Amerigroup, Medicaid, and some of those other medical providers are also supporters of Georgia Hope. So they also fund through their insurance costs the support to take care of this mental health need for our students. The services are sustained, again, as I said, through the insurance costs without any cost to families, no cost to the school district, no cost to the school district, no cost to the school district. And with these services, they will provide with us a licensed social worker who is Harris County based. She has a master's of social work degree. And when they get the person, they will also provide a support person who is that client support specialist to provide support. What we would like to do is to begin this with Creekside, the ELC, and Harris County High School. And then if we do that, that would allow us to serve our students and support them with mental health needs from grades 5 through 12. And if we see the need and they can supply the personnel, may drop it down to 3rd and 4th grade. But right now, we want to target those critical age groups so that we can be proactive with their mental health needs and their supports. And our counselors are doing a great job. They do a wonderful job, but they are licensed school counselors. They are not licensed professional clinicians or social workers, which we don't have a licensed social worker in the school district. So we wanted to present this to you to let you know what our plans are, how we're trying to meet those needs. It's a very rampant topic. When I went to the GSBA's safety workshop, one of the major things that they talked about in the entire afternoon session was mental health is health. And when you look at mental health, you need to think about the medical side of it, not the side of discipline or, locking people up or putting them in jail or, doing those types of things, because mental health is a real need. So this is something that we want to address before it becomes an issue with us. And we know that there's a need in all of our schools. We see it. And if we don't address it now, it's going to become something that we're going to be reactive to, and we don't want to be reactive. So I've given you the MOU that outlines how the program will look. This is for your informational purposes. It's nothing that you have to act on, but I do want you to have the information and know what we're doing. It's no different than Georgia Apex with New Horizons. It's just a different organization that's going to be providing those services. So at this time, I'll stop talking and answer any questions.
Ms. Baker, I know on here it's got the terms of understanding from it started on Tuesday. So has it already been implemented?
No. I had a meeting with them on Tuesday. This is when they brought me all the information. So I asked them to send me the MOU, but this is a fluid document, so I can go in and change these dates as needed.
So when do you think we would have this implemented?
I can get it implemented tomorrow if there are no objections to doing so. But they can start whenever they're ready to start now, but we don't want to start this without
Sure.
having that information before you.
And then my next question, I'm sorry, Shannon, is I know you're talking about servicing 5th through 12, correct? So where would this person actually be housed? Do we have a specific location where they're going to be located?
I talked to Dr. Finney about that. We could probably put the person as a stationary point, perhaps at an office at the STC, and then that person would float to the other schools. And we will work out a schedule on days that the social worker would go to our different schools.
So if I may, I kind of add to help answer your question, Mr. Green, as Ms. Baker said, we got this very early this week. And so what we wanted to do, what I recommended was making you all aware of it, providing you with the MOA here in the discussion item. And if you have any questions or concerns and we need to add it as an action item, I can add it as an action item. But I wanted you guys to get the information right away. Yep. And so if need be, I'll add it as an action item for next week.
Okay. Any other questions?
Any other questions for Ms. Baker? All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
That will take us to item E4, that the Harris County Board of Education listen to a facilities and technology update from Mr. Fisher. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So we got a couple of things. The first one we're going to talk about is the safety, because that's kind of been a hot topic here lately with all schools in the state. The Georgia Department of Education has a seal that it's like a recognition, like our STEAM schools and all. It's a Georgia Ready Seal of Preparedness. We're going to be doing that with all of our schools. I just had the meeting with the Georgia Department of Education this morning, 10 o'clock meeting, go through all that stuff. So I'll be working with the schools. Most of the application we can answer at the district level, but there's a couple questions, getting dates when they did things and whatnot, that we have to work with the schools directly on. But for the most part, I'll be working on those up here and then getting with them individually for those things. They'll find out more about this at our principals meeting next week, now that we have all the information from the state. Okay. And what this is, I'm sorry, what this is it's more like we're prepared to respond to stuff. It's got the initial trying to prevent it, but then it's how we respond to it. Are we ready to respond to those things if there is some kind of situation, intruder, anything along those lines, fire, things like that. It's more the safety stuff. Questions about it? All right, moving along on our technology update. Last month, I told you, I thought we had everything fixed and we're on track and everything. And then Friday midday, I was proved to be a liar. And it all came crashing down. We've since made some changes and have had a lot better products since then. We haven't had any outages except for losing power last week during the storm. That's the only outage I've had anywhere since we made the change. We backed out something out of the network, updated it, and it's worked a lot better. It has been very successful in what we're doing. So we're taking things step by step to get to where we can do the intercoms like we're wanting to. And we're doing it slowly so we know if we start having issues, okay, where it is, we need to back up at that point instead of all the way from the beginning. Questions about that? That's great. So, any more questions about that with our update on the technology? All right, and the last one on our facilities, we had the great storm last week. When I had to turn all this in, we hadn't found any kind of damage. There was no major damage in any of the buildings, facilities whatsoever. Tuesday afternoon, we found one semi-small issue. We had some washout happen over at the tennis courts at the stairs going down. It washed out from underneath at the top. So we're in the process of getting that fixed up so we don't lose all that and break it and everything. But other than that, at the buildings, we didn't have anything. We had some water get blown under some doors, which could have been Wednesday night, as you all know how much rain we had Wednesday. So it could have been any one of those 3 days. But other than that, we came out unscathed.
What about roads?
There was one road up in Pine Mountain Valley that it washed out. I can't remember the road name now.
Kings Gap.
Kings Gap, yes, by X Street or K Street and all. That's washed out. It minimally impacted our transportation routes, but we were ahead of it once we found out the routing team got ahead and rerouted us so it minimized the impact we had on our routes. Any other questions?
Mr. Fisher, I had a question.
Sir.
The road that runs between Park Elementary and the PLL,
Yes, sir.
is that our road
Yes,
or
sir.
is that considered a Hamilton City road?
That is a Board of Education road.
Okay.
Harris County School District.
So in the recent, before the hurricane came through the week, I think it was the week prior.
Yes.
When we were at the high school for a visit, we had a tree get on a power line between Park Elementary and Hamilton.
Correct. On Highway 27.
So Hamilton Police was trying to route people down our road. And that's not a
Yes.
2-lane road.
No, it is not.
Plus, it's running right through an elementary school where we have special education kids getting picked up and dropped off on that side all day long.
Yes, sir.
For their services. And have we had a conversation with the city of Hamilton and the sheriff's department to let them know, look, if there's something catastrophic on that roadway and we have to shut it down, and you have to use that to allow traffic, you need to talk to us
Yes.
before you do that.
And as soon as I got out there, I found out the power and on, I got out there, I had them stop routing it that way because we do have buses coming in and out of that all throughout the day. We got midday routes and everything. Drivers coming in to get their buses for the afternoons and whatnot. So that was stopped once we realized what was going, and I was able to communicate that to the PD and whatnot. So they understand that we can't use that because it's not big enough for 2 cars, and you come head on with the bus, it's not going to be a pretty sight, and we don't
No.
want that.
Well, I
And
mean,
we're responsible for any maintenance upkeep on it.
right. Well, I would understand if there was an accident on that road that stopped traffic for a long period of time. They could approach us at that point and we could maybe adjust ours so that we could use that road and then control traffic on each end.
Right.
One
And
group
I
going
sat
one-
down there. That's why I wasn't at the.
Right. So, I'm not saying we wouldn't want to let them use it,
Right.
but in the future, they need to contact you or Dr. Finney and coordinate that, not just start pushing people down that road.
Right. And
Okay.
I think at that moment, they were thinking just the simplest terms and whatnot, but we got that cleared up quickly.
Very good.
Sure.
Any other
Anything?
questions? The parking area at Park, is that completed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was finished. I don't remember the exact day. I want to say it was right before Labor Day. Or
Okay.
not long after, somewhere around in there. I don't remember the exact day. It's been a little while, so that's why I don't remember exact day.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
I'm
all.
sorry.
Go on, go ahead, Mr. Lewis.
Look, I just want to add a little something to the conversation about the traffic. I agree with you. You certainly want to be good community members and, but communicate, right? And just a thought is maybe that's something we need to consider when looking at Parks, emergency plan.
Right.
Or any of our other schools for that matter, but specifically because they happen at Park. If that's an issue, what's the plan so that everybody involved in the community?
And that's part of their safety plan and stuff, going through those for this preparedness seal.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, so that will take us to item E5, that the Harris County Board of Education will listen to a superintendent update from Dr. Penny.
Okay, I've just got three quick things here. Is our quarterly retreat's going to be coming up very soon, so we're working on that agenda. Of course, you know that Alan McCannon, who's the former superintendent of Madison County, and he works for Raymond and James, he's going to come do the whole board training portion of that. And he's going to give us some more information on House Bill 581, I mean. I think at this point, we can't really have too much understanding of that bill. So he's going to provide us with some of that. Then he's going to give us some general school finance training and on budgets and just general school finance. And he is doing such a thorough job as we're already working together. And he is collecting a lot of our data and looking at everything in depth. So he's going to give us a good picture of where we're at. He's going to give a good picture of some of the strategies that are going to help us with our processes down the road. He's going to talk about things like what drives our budget, not just here's the general processes, but he's taking a look at our teacher class size ratios across the district. He's taking a look at all of our fund equity and some of our finance reports, all of our personnel expenditures across the district. He's going to give us some good strategies on fund equity and those kind of things. And so I'm very much looking forward to that. And I think it's going to be very helpful for us because the spring's going to be here before you know it. And we're going to be diving deep into this budget. And we're trying to get a head start on it now. So he's going to help us do that. So he'll do about 2 hours of that, and then we will probably take our break and then come back, and he's going to stay on for that to help us. He's going to facilitate our discussion on as we start to prioritize in relation to our strategic plan, and we're really going to put some meat and some implications and application to that process. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So if you have any questions or anything before that, let me know so I can get that to him. The next question I have is I've been looking at the non-resident student policy, JBCB, and Miss Baker and Mr. Fisher and Deb Slayton, Jeannie Ponder, and myself are meeting tomorrow. Is that correct, Mr. Fisher? Yes. And what I've had Jeannie doing is gathering some of the things that other boards have in their policies. And is there anything that we can add to ours that would be a good addition or a strategy for us to use? And there are some good things about that. And there's some real thoughtful things out there across the state. So I let you know that because we've had a lot of policies that we've been working on this year, and that's probably one that's going to come up before you in November. Of course, we'll have to table it, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about this at our quarterly meeting. But I see a need for us to try to add some more meat teeth to that policy because we have had a couple of situations that have come up that, if we had it in our policy, it might be at our hands to use it and benefit the school district and the taxpayers. So just want to let you know that that's probably coming up. It's politics season. It's election time, and you know how elections can bring about the emotions and they can bring about the conversations. And so we have had a focus with the employees and staff across the district. Not that you don't have a right to your opinion and your political affiliations, but we're suggesting to you, let's not be divisive within the school district, and let's keep our focus on students, teaching and learning, and not these divisive concepts in the workplace. And so we are emphasizing that across the district as well. It seemed to be very well received because I haven't gotten any calls. I haven't gotten any concerns about violation of free speech or any of that stuff. But Ms. Carlisle really works to kind of craft that response and language that we needed to use. And once we started talking about keeping them focused on our mission, which is teaching and learning of students, I think that prevented a lot of it. So if you hear anything different, please let me know. I'm happy to speak with anybody that would like to discuss it. So point them in my direction. I'm happy to do that. Those were the only three things I had on mind that I wanted to update you, and I'm sure we'll have some more stuff when we get into the action agenda here.
Does anyone have any questions of Dr. Finney regarding those three items? All right, so that will take us to our action agenda and item F1, that the Harris County Board of Education review for approval the attached tabled proposed revision to board policy DIB financial reports. We did discuss this last month, and it is sitting on the table for the required amount of time. We will vote on this next week at our regular scheduled meeting. Did anyone have any questions regarding that policy revision? All right, so that will take us to item F2, that the Harris County Board of Education review for approval the attached table proposed revision to board policy EDDA, special use of school buses. That has also been on the books for the required amount of time, and we will vote on that next week as well. Did anyone have any questions regarding that policy? And I trust we have reviewed these with our attorney who's sitting in the back of the room.
Yes.
Why he's back there, I don't know, but that's ominous sitting back there looking at him. But I trust you've reviewed those and we don't have any concerns on any of that, correct? All right, very good. All right, and that will take us to item F3, that the Harris County Board of Education proclaims the week of October 14th through 18th, 2024 as National School Lunch Week by presenting the attached proclamation during the regular board meeting scheduled for Thursday, October 10th, 2024. So that proclamation will be presented to Ms. Baker and her staff next week. Did anyone have any questions regarding that proclamation? All right, so that will take us to item F4, that the Harris County Board of Education proclaims the week of October 21st through 25th, 2024 as National School Bus Safety Week by presenting the attached proclamation during the regular board meeting scheduled for Thursday, October 10th, 2024. That will be presented to, I'm assuming, Mr. Fisher and his staff, or Mr. Miller, if he's going to be here for that. Anyone have any questions regarding that proclamation? All right, so that will take us to item F5, that the Harris County Board of Education review for approval the attached proposed list of technology equipment to be designated as surplus. Dr. Finney, did you have any comments on this?
Well, this is the standard periodic surplus list that we get together as we decommission and dispose of some of the items in our technology department. And the biggest part of it you'll see is computers, desktop computers. You know, we did a complete refresh across the district this year on computers. So now we're working with this company to dispose of those. So this is all technology, and the items are either out of date and unusable or they're unrepairable. And so that's why we surplus them. So if you have any questions, let us know.
And I know I've asked this question before. We don't have, these things won't take updates anymore. The software
Yeah.
is outdated. So it wouldn't behoove us to donate this to anybody that could use it.
Right, right. And that is correct. And like the desktop computers, we can't even update them for any use that we have. And we have pretty good programs and texts that we could do. They don't take the updates. They don't take the new software and operating systems. And it's really dangerous to do that because you open people up to cybersecurity issues and threats as well.
So Dr. Finney, real quick, I'm assuming Premier Surplus is gonna need all this equipment, is gonna be taking all of it off our hands. not
Yes.
just the computers.
Yes.
All right, any other questions regarding that one? All right, so that will take us to item F6, that the Harris County Board of Education review the attached proposed out-of-state field trip request from Harris County High School. I believe this is the wrestling team's tournament that they go to every year in Fort Walton Beach.
Yes, this is the Beast of the Beach from December 19th to December 21st. And I learned last month that I really wanted to get these in more than a
Yes.
couple of days ahead of the the meeting. So this one's in December. There's all the details that you have, outlining everything.
So will this be a bus driver that stays with them the entire time?
Yes, I believe it is, but I'll get that exactly for you.
Okay.
So
All right.
it would need to be, but we will certainly put that on there.
Yeah, that's a long way to go and come
Yeah.
back and go back and pick them up again.
Yeah.
All right, so that will take us to item F7, that the Harris County Board of Education review for approval of the attached proposed revision to both the monthly committee and monthly regular board meeting agendas. Dr. Finney.
So as we discussed and came up with this idea of moving executive session to 5 o'clock before the meeting, we wanted to do a resolution here to make it official. And so we will bring this, I think we will begin this in November, which I'm going to have to go back and amend this memorandum here to include when we intend to make this an effective date. So I'll get Ashley to amend this tomorrow, and this will be on the action item next week. But we're just proposing to move the executive session beginning at 5 p.m. And we'll have our regular meetings at 6:30, just like we have now. So it shouldn't affect the public in any way. And it's also going to help when we have those board meet or those school meetings, those school visits, and that time that we have to be more productive between the school visit and the actual meeting.
And the intention of this is we have directors, we have assistant superintendents that present sometimes during executive session. And sometimes we're in here quite late, and it's, as everybody knows, Harris County roads are very dangerous at night. A lot of them 2-lane highways. So we want to try to get our staff home at a decent time, and our board members and our superintendent home at a decent time. And like Dr. Finney said, we've moved our school visits to coincide with our board meetings, the second board meeting of every month. Also to be more considerate of the work schedules of all of the board members here that work. So that's the reason we're doing it. We're not trying to hide anything. It would be executive session. Public's not allowed in executive session. So that would allow us to get that part of the meeting done. And possibly we may have to have executive session after the meeting still, if we can't get everything done. But that allows us some flexibility there. And that's the reason for us doing that, for the members of the public that may have a question about that. All right, so that will take us to item F8, that the Harris County Board of Education review for approval the attached proposed DECA Fall Conference Field Trip request from Harris County High School. Dr. Finney.
Yes, this is a field trip that our DECA chapter will be taking, and it's going to Atlanta. It's for their Fall Leadership Conference. All of the information is here on the overnight trip application form. Mr. Fisher will get the information for us if the bus driver is going to stay there. But this is just a one-night trip to Atlanta. They're going to stay at the Renaissance Waverly, where the GSBA conference usually is. So that'll give you an idea of kind of where they're at. And I know they'll represent us well.
Very good. And he was shaking his head, yes, that the bus driver will be staying overnight on this one, for sure. All right, so that will take us to our consent agenda and item G1 that the Harris County Board of Education review the attached major purchases report for September of 2024. I don't normally need glasses, but I think I do for this. Man.
Well, Dr. Green, I got a question on the H.E. Hodge Company, the furniture, I guess, purchase order. Where we put the furniture?
H.E. Hodge down here, the outstanding or the open purchase orders. So we had to put some furniture at Creekside. We had to put some furniture at Mountain Hill because of the student increases that we had in a couple of classrooms. We just needed some extra furniture to meet those needs of the students. But that was all classroom furniture.
The school nutrition equipment, what was that?
So
From the Bolter companies?
yes, so if you remember last year, we were using some of that surplus to update our kitchens. And so that is part of the equipment that Mr. Johnson has been installing in our cafeterias across the district.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, this, on all the Service Master stuff, is that all of summer projects?
It's mostly all summer projects and it's mostly paid for with eSplost.
There's a lot of it looks like it's STC renovations.
So a lot of it is the normal type of summer projects that we do, but we did have some of that stuff at STC, if you recall the asbestos abatement when we had to tear that floor up and then putting the flooring back down with the cove base. And then some other things that we typically don't do in the summer are those window installs at the STC. So some of them are those normal types of maintenance, painting, flooring projects for the summer. Some other ones were specific to the STC and that renovation project.
Then I got one last question on the bus ride,
Mhm.
licensing stuff. Is that an annual or is that a one-time?
So with Busright, we had a 3-year contract with them initially, and that was typically to cover the cost of all the tablets and things that we got. So this $112,000 this is year 3 of that contract for our app and all of our routing systems that go specifically to Busright. So we're going to have to make a decision this spring to either stay with Busright or look at Versatrans, because Versatrans does the same type of thing practically with the same tablets as well. So we're going to use those competitive processes to see which company can provide us with the best
So really
process.
Yeah, so then really it just comes down to the licensing for the actual
Yes.
software.
Yes.
We can use our same hardware that we have.
We are assuming at this point we can use our same hardware.
So these are all individual licenses, 118, and some of those are on the tablets that are on the buses, and then some of those are for the staff that need the access as well.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other questions regarding the major purchases report? All right, so that will take us to item G2, that the Harris County Board of Education review the attached financial report for September of 2024. Did you want to speak on this?
Well, I can. I'll let everybody look at it just a second and then I can answer your questions. But you could see our beginning fund balance was $10,139,000. And then the total expenditures are, to date, 18,495,000. That leaves us 2,358,000 in our fund balance. Now, that doesn't account for some of the money that we've drawn down since this report that isn't on the books yet. So we've probably got another 2.5 million that are sitting on the books. And I sent you guys that number, I think last week in my weekly update on Friday. And so that roughly $5,500,000 that we have in the fund equity is that's a very important number because with our payroll at $5 million a month and the amount of money that we're going to get over the next 3 months combined with what we have on hand is going to be going to be close, but we're going to make it.
When do we start getting tax revenue?
And that's why these months are so important because our tax revenue does not start coming in until January 1st. Yeah.
So will we have any problem between now and January 1st?
We're not anticipating any problems, but we're being very fiscally responsible to make sure we don't have any problems. And I've sat down with Megan. I'm sitting down with her about every day whenever she does those updates, just to make sure we're on track. She and I are working together to look at every single purchase order and not purchase order, but voucher before it's paid. What I've told the principals is only get those things that you have to have that's budgeted. If it's something that we can do comfortably after July 1st, then July 1st. January 1st, then that's what we're looking at. Another thing we're looking at very, very closely is if we have somebody resign or leave for some reason, we are sitting down and looking, very closely at how we can, in the most fiscally responsible way, either replace that person or move things around so that we get the essential positions covered.
And this is not an unusual place
No,
to be
no.
this time of.
No.
It's been a year, so I can't remember what the fund balance was at
Yeah,
this point last year, but it's not an unusual place, but to your point, Dr. Penny, it does take some mindfulness and intentionality, and just like we do at your own home,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because prices are not gonna go down,
Yeah.
but my question is, and Mr. Proctor kind of alluded to it, but is there any indication at this point that we're going to need to float 10 this year?
I've had that discussion with Megan and we don't think we're going to have to. But October is going to be the key. How well we operate in October is going to be the key to that. And if we had to do that, probably the latest availability to do that would be in November. Come November, we'll have to know for sure.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong or mistake on one. I don't recall we've had to do that for a number of years.
Mhm.
Yeah, so but it's always a question and concern, and so that's why I ask.
Yep. We're talking about daily all of the resources and revenue that we have in all these different places, and we've got a good plan to make it to that time. But I'm glad you added that, Mr. Lipp, because this is not an unusual place to be in October.
No, not at all.
Dr. Penny, this may be a question for you, or it may be a question for Ms. Sahab, but and I say this jokingly, but in all seriousness, this budgeted revenue for the taxes that we receive, is that an accurate number?
That is not a bad question, sir.
Where, Ms. Seahawk,
Which number are you looking
where did
at?
that come from?
Based on recent history.
We calculated that number, correct?
Right.
We're not-
Okay, I get it now. It kind of went over my head.
The tax digest that we got from the tax commissioners. But based on the amount of money we collected last year from taxes, so that includes that amount. Plus we get other smaller little things like intangible tax, railroad tax. There's like little small, not property tax that's also included in that number. And so, yes, we feel like this is an accurate number.
Yeah.
And in January, you'll see it's gonna, like, we're at 2% right now. We've only collected 2%. And then we're gonna jump to the other end of the spectrum in January, where we're gonna be flip-flopped and we're gonna have collected the majority of it in January and February because of when property taxes are due.
I just want to make sure I have a number back.
Yes, yes, sir.
Don't we get some all along too? They've been all at once.
We do, we get 2 tax checks a month from the tax commissioner's office, and right now they range from about 100,000 to 200,000. So it's not much.
And Ms. Seha, would you remind me of the figure, how much we pay the county to process our taxes, please?
It's 2.5% of what we collect. So on our tax revenue, it's 2.5%, which is just a little over $700,000.
$700,000 we pay the county to process our taxes.
Yes, sir.
729,000.
Thank you
That
for
may be
that
an
correction.
interesting item for the next joint
Yep.
meeting.
Yep.
On the agenda.
Thank you.
Well, y'all have heard me say,
Go ahead, Mr. Goodenough.
y'all have heard me say for years that we fund the tax department of this county.
No doubt.
Even though I was wrong with my figures saying they charge us both 3%, but 2.5% for the size of the county we are. Yeah, and then the extra money they roll over to a separate line item of their budget.
Well, you would have thought as much money as we pay them, they could have got our tax figures right last year, but they didn't manage to do that.
I would like to commend Ms. Seha in our slides that we've been using, that we used at the joint session as well. And I say this because I've met with two citizens this week that asked that very same question about what that 2.5% adds up to. And then when I gave them that figure, they were astounded. They were astounded. Yeah.
Mr. Lip is going to have a new position after he gets off the board. He's going to be the town crier of Harris County. There you go. We'll find something for him to do. Thank you, Ms. Seha.
Welcome.
All right, so that will take us to item G3, that the Harris County Board of Education review the attached enrollment report for September of 2024.
Dr. Penny, I want to ask a question. I certainly don't mean to put you on the spot, but it just really just crossed my mind. You may or may not have the answer, but we talked quite a bit over the last year, and Ms. Baker, with the attendance protocols and the seriousness and the impact that we're trying to do in the schools. Have you seen an impact of that? Are the numbers showing that we're making progress, or are we doing the effort and we're still stagnant with our attendance percentages?
Well, we just went to had the attendance protocol meeting this week. And at this short period of time since the beginning of the year, I don't have every single percentage, but the numbers were generally the better for the attendance from what we examined in the attendance protocol meet.
So a part of my report for the attendance protocol is to give a district perspective.
Great.
And I normally give a 3 to 4 year overview of where we are. So if I remember correctly, in 2020, 21, we had a 91% attendance rate at the end of the year in May 2021. May 2022, we had a 93% attendance rate. May 2023, we had a 93%. And in May 2024, we had a 96. And as you see here, as of Monday, September 30th, we have begun this year with a 96% attendance rate.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, since the time I've been retired, I have more time to be running about town and stuff and all, and I'm always amazed, even though we have the attendance protocol meeting, of the number of kids that are out running around that look like they're of school age kids to be there. And then a lot of people know I check license tags and stuff too when we visit schools, but I have seen in Pine Mountain where some of them, I kind of watch them and then see what car they get, because maybe they're visiting Callaway Guards and stuff and all like that. But some of them are Harris County residents that are not in school. So
What's the age range are you looking? Are they high schoolers perhaps?
no, they're probably elementary school age.
And I would probably say, Ms. Baker, you may can speak to this. I think Harris County has a large homeschool
Yes.
population.
We do.
We do.
Yes. I don't know those numbers right off, but we do have quite a few students who are homeschooled.
Well, then a lot of them must take a long recess.
Just because you're in homeschool don't mean you go during school hours.
That's true. That's true.
Any further questions?
All right.
So I'll take that to item G4 of the Harris County Board of Education, be attached school nutrition program financial report for September 2024. Any questions of Ms. Baker or Dr. Penny regarding this report?
Mhm.
So I'll take us to item G5 of the Harris County Board of Education review is at local school council meeting minutes received from Mulberry Creek, New Mountain Hill, and Park Elementary. I trust you will review those. If you have any questions, please contact the admin in each of the schools if you have a question regarding it. Or Dr. King, you can pass that along to them. And the and that will take us to item G6, the Harris County Board of Education review the findings and recommendations from Robinson, Grimes and Company of the FY24 audit and principal account. Can say how you want to come up and talk about this? Or is there a need for me to say how to come up and talk about this?
I can just explain what it is.
Thank you.
So every year we have Robinson and Grimes come and pick up the school account books, and the bookkeepers bring them to the central office. Robinson and Grimes comes and picks them up, and they do an off-site audit of the principal's accounts or student activity accounts. And then Robinson and Grimes gives us an individual report for each school, and there, if there's any findings, then they report those in this report and submit their recommendations for those. And we only had 2 this year for one school, and it was during a transition period. So I feel confident that it was just something that happened because there was a transition of bookkeepers. And it wasn't anything major. So one of them of the findings was that their reconciliation for the year end didn't get to me to sign off on in a timely manner. And that's not like a major issue. It's not like there's money going, missing or something. It was just the timing of it. You're supposed to have it up to the central office for the director of finance to look at within 10 business days of the closing of the month. And that didn't happen one time. And then the other one was about deposits. It was just that we need to make sure that we're getting the cash that's in the school to the bank in a timely manner, that we're not holding on to checks. And again, it was just during a transition period of one of our bookkeepers at the schools. And so I feel confident that we have rectified that, and that going forward, we won't have those findings anymore.
Any questions?
Ms. Seha, on a related, unrelated topic, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, are we now caught up on our annual audits into a halfway current year?
Yes, so we are closing out fiscal year 23 audit. We should be getting that final draft within this month, hopefully October. So we'll have that exit conference, and usually it's Dr. Finney and the board chair, or someone from the board has to be present, and then myself. And we've already started submitting our fiscal year 24, which we just closed out June 30th, to Robinson and Grimes. So switching over to actual CPA firm to complete our audits has helped tremendously in the amount of work that the finance department is having to keep up with at one time. Because if you remember, at one time, we had 3 audits going all along at the same time, and we couldn't get one closed because 2019 was still open. And so all of that was continuing to just drag us down. But yes, we are caught up. We're on the right track. We just signed off on our fiscal year 24. Dr. Finney signed off on that we uploaded to the state on September 30th. So we are in a really good place right now.
Very good.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
This is out of context to that, but on our booster clubs, usually require they submit audits to us. Is that being complied with?
So we don't have to get audits, but we have to have a record of their financials, and we haven't collected those for June 30th yet, but we're in the process of doing that.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Ms. Seha.
You're welcome.
All right, so that will take us to item H, that the Harris County Board of Education share news and information they may have with the public. And this evening, I'm going to start with Ms. Oliver.
I'm really excited about having a joint meeting with the board of commissioners. Really, it's just a great night. And it kind of goes with the whole vibe that's happening right now with a lot of people wanting to work together. To go to that attendance protocol meeting, the school planning meeting, and see all of the different organizations represented, and how they're meeting together, and working together, how they all knew each other, and how they have it. To see all that was going on behind the scenes. And I'm just really grateful. Went to the parade today, for the homecoming parade, the people standing around to hear their conversations, to hear them talk about how proud they were to live in Harris County. Have one of them say, "Mom, look at this weather, look at this yesterday. It's like a hallmark." She said, and I just wanted to say, that's how we're doing.
Yeah.
That's how we get up every day and we take the phone calls and we take the emails and we do what we do. Is to establish those families and let them be a part of something that's really great and special. And I'm just really proud of everybody. Everybody's doing a really great job. I'm very humble, very grateful, and I just want to say thank you. It was really cool that the JV girls volleyball team won the Davy Durham tournament this year for the first time. It's really awesome that the JV competition cheerleaders went to their competition this past weekend and got first. And then to have Coach Jenkins, the softball coach, get his 300th win at, this week. I mean, it's just amazing. And then Ms. Baker, I don't even know, Ms. Baker, how we're able to walk in this room to see all that she's doing and how she's going to be honored in a few weeks to be on a video that we will get to watch at GSEA. I mean, we're going to get to see Addison on the big screen. We're just going to be, it's just going to be great. We're so proud of her. Thank you for. And then to see your other daughter walking with the tiger with the band. It's just a beautiful day today to see all the families and to see the camaraderie I'm just proud to be a part of it, but good job. That's all.
Mr. Goodnow.
I would just like to take a moment and, I know several of us attended the services for Mr. Mooneyham this afternoon. And, you know, Orville was a man who dedicated, I think, 47 years of his life to the school system. And a lot of stuff, you know, we can be thankful for what all he helped us with. From, I mean, whatever project we had in the last several years, he helped with, and, you know, we felt his effect on all that, and his knowledge and, you know, his personality, and from me, will be greatly missed.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Lip.
Yeah, I agree. My condolences to the Mooneyham family. We're able to attend the service and honored to do that. So we joke, you know, that Steve's name is on most of the buildings that have been erected in this district. Not all of them, but most of them. Well, those were built by Orville. So Orville built them and he stuck your name on them, Steve. That's all right. He never seemed bitter about that at all. It was fine. But, you know, I mean, I was 3 when Orville started with the school district. That's how long he worked here. So anyway, condolences to the family, and thanks to all for his years of service. Looking forward to the park visit next week, of course, and I want to say thank you. The gentleman, of course, has left, but Ms. Bacon, please express appreciation to Care Worship for all of their support for our district and for taking time to come and share with us tonight.
Mr. Green.
I guess I'll do more PSA announcements kind of stuff. I know we've got open enrollment coming up. I mean, that's what I do. So just want to always remind everybody that it is that time of year. It is upon us. And so make sure you go out there and make your elections for next year. Also, I know it is kind of in the same realm. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I know you start wearing your pink. I mean, pink is cool, especially on guys. So don't be afraid to wear it. I always wear mine during the month of October. If I don't wear it any other time, I definitely wear it during October. I will say as Mr. Lip mentioned, I'm looking forward to our visit at Park next week. And I know Ms. Douthit, your team will always do a great job in receiving us and having us as well. And I'm also looking forward to the Teacher of the Year, Support Person of the Year recognition tomorrow night during the football, before the football game as well. And I hope everybody's had a great homecoming week. It's always a special week here up in Harris County to, you know, sometimes even welcome those back that have been gone for a while. I mean, it is a homecoming, and for us implants, I mean, it's still like homecoming as well. I mean, thank you for welcoming us to your home. So always enjoy all the festivities that go on during this time of the year here in Harris County.
Mr. Proctor.
I guess I should just echo what everybody else has said, but I would like to relate one thing that happened at the parade today. The bus drove by for the community, the learning center, and there was a family there that says, "What is that?" And I explained it to him. I said, "We've never seen anything like that before." Thought that was pretty neat. That's all.
Dr. Finney.
Okay,
Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you.
that's okay. I was zoned in on the news and information. Well, we enjoyed Coffee with a Cop this week, and that was good over at the Hope Center. And it's always good to honor our local law enforcement and our SROs and everybody that supports them, because it is truly reassuring and comforting and promotes that safe feeling to go to school every day when you know that you're protected. So thank you to all of our local law enforcement. Had a good attendance protocol meeting, and I thought it was very productive. And again, it's just good to see people come together in the best interest of students in the community and attempt to tackle a big issue. And you know, everybody boiled it down to one simple message. It's basically, if mom and dad will just get them here, we'll take it from there. And that may be an oversimplification in some respects, but I mean, I think it's in many respects that simple. So I appreciate everybody that is working on that. Some good news that we found out this week too is for Georgia Pre-K Week, Decal and a company that's supported by Bright from the Start, Georgia Voices. It's a early learning advocacy group, and it's endorsed by Bright from the Start. And they're going to come down to Pine Ridge. And when we called to clarify everything, they said Pine Ridge, and I'm sure they would feel this way about all of our programs, but it's just something that they had heard was someplace they were doing great things and they wanted to highlight it. And Representative Carmen Rice is going to accompany them for that visit. And I think it's on the 10th. Am I correct? I think at 9 o'clock in the morning. And so I hope everybody can be there. And Ms. Rice, Representative Rice is on the education committee for the Georgia State House. So it will be good to have her here as well. We launched our Aspiring Leaders program today or this week, and we've already got many applicants. And so that's encouraging that they're very excited about that. So I'm anxious to see how that's going to develop the leaders across the district and make us a better school district. Held this for last. But Arville, there's not another one like him, and there never will be. And I learned more from that man about fixing things and building things, but he was never one to shy away from just having a conversation with you too about his wisdom that he's gathered over his life. And I am eternally grateful for his friendship and his mentorship. And I just know I'll see him again. So that's all I have.
Very good. Yes.
So I also meant to mention, and I don't know why I forgot this, but I just want to send out a prayer, if you will, pray for our neighbors in Georgia and South Carolina and Florida. I mean, we dodged a bullet. They did.
Yeah.
And I've got family that's been displaced, and just want to keep those people in our prayers.
I agree. Those of you that don't know, I'm in the insurance business and I'm on the front line of this right now and seeing these families that are impacted. I mean, it could be their car, it could be their home, it could be a loved one that's missing. Our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to Middle and South Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, all of those areas that were impacted so severely by this storm. It's Mother Nature can be very cruel. And we are seeing that right now, but there are also bright spots in all of that as well. And the people that respond in these situations, our linemen that got our power back up and running, you know, and then got on a truck and rode to Valdosta or got on a truck and rode to Florida or North Carolina. You know, those are our guys and gals in the trenches with them. So we continue to pray for all of those communities impacted by that. We continue to pray for the Mooneyham family. I've known Mr. Orville since I was, I think, 3 years old. As most of you know, my father was a principal in this school district for many, many years, and he and Orville had a very unique friendship that lasted many, many years. And I can remember spending time at his house and then spending time at our house on the river. And always those educators that have children know that you put your children to work during the summer in your school. Don't say that you don't, because you do. And I can remember working around the school and then Mr. Orville showing up and giving me a task to go do too. So he treated me just like I was one of his own. So just remember that family and continue to pray for them as they go through this great loss to our community. I will not be able to attend the Teacher of the Year and Support Personnel of the Year. I'll be on the football field tomorrow night. But congratulations to all of those that are representing their schools. And I know that whoever the Teacher of the Year for the county is will be someone that we all agree is someone fantastic. Not that they all aren't fantastic, they are. And I would just like to say, kudos go out to everyone involved in the big pivot that we had to do in moving our high school game to Saturday. There is a lot that goes into doing that. You have two schools that have to agree. You have to coordinate with parents. The students who work have to get off their jobs if they want to participate, you know, and we had our band, we had our cheerleaders, our JV cheerleaders kick tail and then came down and joined us. It was a great win in our region. And I just want to thank everyone that was involved with that and the game officials that had to pivot as well to come down and call. It worked out great. I heard it was a great environment, and a good problem that we are experiencing is we don't have enough room to sit all of our fans. So we're working on that. You know, congratulations and kudos to everyone that had a hand in that. That was a great move that we were able to do there. All right, so at this time, I will entertain a motion that we be excused to executive session to discuss or deliberate upon the appointment, employment, compensation, hiring, disciplinary action or dismissal, a periodic evaluation or rating of a public officer or employee, or to interview applicants for the position of superintendent, to review an appeal from a student disciplinary tribunal, and to consider a matter involving the disclosure of personally identifiable information from a student's educational record. Do I have a motion? Mr. Proctor, second. Ms. Oliver, any discussion? All in favor? We will be excused to executive session. All right, this time I'll entertain a motion that we exit executive session. Mr. Goodnow, second. Mr. Proctor, all in favor? And at this time, I will make a motion that we adjourn for the evening. Do I have a second? Mr. Goodnow, all in favor? We stand adjourned.